Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm thrilled to welcome a very special guest, someone who brought one of the most unforgettable Goosebumps characters to life. You'll remember her as Carly Beth, the shy girl with the terrifying Halloween mask from the classic episodes Haunted Mask 1 and Haunted Mask 2. Her performance became an instant fan favorite, earning her Gemini Award nomination and solidifying the Haunted Mask as one of the most iconic in the Goosebumps history. Beyond acting, she's a multi-talented artist, trained dancer, educator who has spent years inspiring young performers throughout works in the art. Ladies and gentlemen, grab your popcorn, turn up the volume as we welcome our guest, Kathryn Long. How you doing today?
Hi. Great. Nice to see you. Nice to see everyone.
How's everything? How are you doing today?
I'm good. Like I said, it's
Ready
Friday. I am,
to
yeah, the
go.
weekend is coming. Everything is great.
Well, it's we've met in the Houston Con,
hmm
the horror con. That was a couple months ago. That might have been 4 or 5 months ago. And I remember running into you and just seeing all the Goosebumps stuff, the fans so ecstatic, right? For something that was
Yeah, it was a great turnout at that event. Yeah, the
uh,
fans were really awesome.
and you said was that your very first one or no?
For Goosebumps, yes, it was my first one. Yeah, I had not done one prior to that for Goosebumps.
And like you said, the turnout was good. I know, remember talking to Mr. Crowley as well, and he said that it was a really good turnout. And I think you don't realize how much of an impact you have on someone or their, childhood until it's all in your face. And that's when you see them all, right? All the fans coming out and they have so much
Yeah.
stuff that it's just wild. Bless you.
I mean, sorry.
But how was that experience?
In Houston, yeah, it was really great. I mean, the first day that we showed up and we came down into the main area, uh, there was people already lined up waiting for us to get there, fans that had, I guess, come there specifically for us. We did have a few people tell us like that we came just for you guys, and that's just so sweet. It was fantastic to meet a lot of people who are our age, who obviously loved the show at the same time we were doing the show. And now as adults getting to, meet the stars of the show and seeing us in person and being able to share with us. I'm sorry,
I
my
love
cat
it. I
now
love
the
it.
featured person in our this is, this is Bubsies.
Oh,
Bubsy, say hello. Hello. He's a beautiful baby.
he
So
is.
if you like cats, there was your chance in the
That's awesome. Kind of looks like from Meet the Parents, Gypsy. Uh,
He does. Yes, that is true. Yeah, he's a good boy. He just needs lots of attention. Sorry about that. So
no,
where were we?
no, this has been interesting. I mean, no one knows, but earlier we had a dog. Now we have a cat. How many animals you got there?
Just the two,
Just
just
the
the
two?
two. But they
Okay,
are very, very attached to me and they like have to be with me all the time. So it's hilarious.
that's
My
all.
cat actually demands to be swaddled. When I'm working for a long time on a computer, he will jump up on me, demand to be hugged, and then wrapped in a baby swaddle and stay there while I'm working. It's
Awesome.
People are jealous because they always want an affectionate cat, but then you get one and you're like, they never like stop bothering you. It's really sweet.
Which one's worse, though, an affectionate cat or a dog? Because my sister
I
has
think
a
I
dog.
think a dog whining and pawing at you all the
Yep,
time is probably worse. And just she's big and heavy, so yeah. But I'm not going to complain. They're beautiful babies. We're good. Yeah.
absolutely.
But
Uh,
anyways, where were we? Let's go back to what you want
That's
to talk
fine.
about.
Let's talk about growing up in your childhood. Um, how'd you get into acting? Was acting your first passion, or was dancing your first passion? Because
I think dancing was for sure.
first,
Dancing in live theater. I did that so young. There's video of me, I think 18 months old,
Mhm.
still probably in a diaper dancing on stage. My
Oh,
first recital, I was really little. And yeah, loved theater, dancing, live performing. Our family was really into that. And then I don't know where it happened. I think someone saw me in some show when I was like 9, and they were like, "Yo, you should get an agent." And so then my mom and I remember we went agent hunting and went to look at a few different places, and we eventually found one Her name was Mary Swinton, my first agent. And she took me on, and then I got Goosebumps literally 6 months after I signed with her.
Oh wow. Wow.
Yeah, it was like really quickly after I got Goosebumps. Yeah.
What is it about performing in front of a live audience compared to kind of like a control setting, like a TV show?
Oh, the pressure is immensely different. I think there's a different rush too with the live audience and knowing that there's that connection there, and the fourth wall is very real. And but the pressure is different in the sense that you only get that one chance. You don't get to do a retake and do 3 to 10 takes if necessary. Um, there's a nuance to film too. There's different acting style that goes into it. The camera's much closer. You have to be much more subtle. And then in theater, your audience is much further away. You're not passing the 3 foot test. You're passing the 30, 100, 300 foot test with
Mhm.
people being so far away from you looking for your reaction. So theater and film acting have very different techniques. And even as a kid, I was pretty aware of that, I would say.
Okay.
But ironically, I always got cast in film as these really, you know, dark and very theatrical roles. And so I think my theater experience played into a lot of my film casting, especially for Goosebumps, because I had to do the voice and I had to be a monster. So no subtlety there. I was like a full-on Jim Carrey transition, right? In terms of going from this normal kid to this creature. So theater definitely helped me in that crossover, but they're very different genres for sure, and from
And you
a
and you said
artistic perspective.
and you said you dove into theater more when you were younger. Was there
Yeah.
someone that you kind of looked up to, role model style of reason why you went in?
Oh yeah. Um, I mean, in film, I think I loved Meryl Streep
Okay.
growing up. My mom loved watching the Oscars. Just she was so obsessed with Hollywood and film and everything. She was all about it. So we loved watching the Oscars, and of course Meryl Streep had all these Oscars, and it was the '90s, which was the peak of film, and so loved her. I loved Annette Bening. I thought she was great. Trying to think of uh, other actresses. Who's the actress that? Oh, now it's like my brain. I haven't had enough coffee today. The
It's
actress. I'm
Friday.
gonna have
It's
to.
it's
I'm gonna
Friday.
have
I
to. I'm
understand.
gonna have to Google. My brain is failing me.
Now, was it something about their style of acting that kind of made you want to become an actress?
Um,
Hey, Meryl Streep,
I
for
think just because I think more. I was a really. I was a pretty, say, sheltered kid. I was very influenced by my parents' opinion.
parents.
Yeah, so I think just my mom loving them and us watching a lot of their films. Um, Anna Paquin, I think she won the Oscar for the piano when I was the same age. And so I was like, oh, wow, someone my age won an Oscar. And so I thought her acting was amazing. I just looked up. I don't know why I couldn't remember her name. Anne Reiking. So she was a very famous Broadway actress, and she was in the movie Annie. And I would watch that over and over, that movie with Carol Burnett. And see, now I can remember all the other people's names.
There you go. Now it's
Anne
clicking.
Reiking's name couldn't come to me in the moment. But Anne Reiking, I was obsessed with her growing up and wanted to watch everything she was in and all the Fosse stuff. So yeah, I think I was attracted to the classic era of film. I love Judy Garland as well and all the old actresses. We watched a lot of those Broadway revival style MGM movies growing up, so that was a big thing in my house.
Now, was Broadway something that you wanted eventually to take on since it has a mix of dancing with, still acting?
Yeah, I think if I'd had my way, I would have gone more that direction
Okay.
overall. I was a trained singer as well. I wouldn't say that my singing was the strongest of the three. You know how they call it a triple threat
Yeah.
in uh, on Broadway, and like my singing was decent. And I remember like I ended up doing Annie at like a local, like off-Broadway review thing in Toronto. And I got down to like the last couple of kids for Les Mis, for Cosette, at one of the big theatrical reviews and whatnot. But I think because theater always required a very long commitment, and
Hmm.
then you had to essentially almost be homeschooled, and taking you out of school and everything and doing like a full 9 month run.
Hmm.
And that took me out of ballet completely. So the logistics of it never really worked out anyways for me. But as an adult, long term, yeah, I mean, Broadway would have been great. It's a hard gig though. I mean, I know friends that are on Broadway. Like I had a friend who was a swing in Wicked for ages, and they put in so much work. They are so, yeah, it's a lot. And depending on where you're working, you don't get as much pay.
Hmm.
So Broadway is it is not financially the most lucrative spot to be working. Film is much more lucrative in that sense. So my mom definitely pushed me more towards film. I think that lifestyle suited her a little bit more. And I was a kid, so I didn't really have like
Yeah,
the
much
choice.
say.
Like it was like,
Yeah.
okay, mom likes film, we're gonna do film. But I loved Broadway. And as an adult, I ended up going back and doing a lot of musical theater on a local level, and supporting that both in producing, choreographing, and dancing. There was a revival of White Christmas that happened a couple like 5 years ago, and
Mhm.
they asked me if I would play Judy, and I was like, yeah, sure. So I did it, and it was so fun. It was so great to be on stage and doing a lead role, and even if it's local community theater, it was a really great production. It was really well done. So
That's
yeah,
all.
yeah,
Yeah, because I know I'd had director Adam Marcus, and he talked about he talked about Broadway and how his family was so involved in Broadway. But he said the only as an adult, being a Broadway actor, like you have to be passionate about it because the money's not there. He's like you have to
yeah,
really
for
be
sure.
passionate about that. But um,
Yeah,
to
you got to work on the side. You got to teach. You got to do
yep,
other stuff.
still
You got to have
gotta
a
have to get another job just.
side hustle. Yeah.
Yep. So, but that's interesting. I always wanted to do Broadway.
Oh, you
Don't
did?
I mean I did. I don't have acting skill in my body though. I think just
You
because
just
I
got the
know,
heart.
yeah, there it goes. I just because I know the Phantom of the Opera, like the music thing, but I probably would never be able to get
Really
on
beautiful.
stage and do it. It's it's intense. I mean I get choked up introducing someone on a podcast that probably 10 people are watch. So like imagine like people like a full room like no. No. I wish I could. It's something that
You never know.
that's
You
true.
never know.
There we
But live
go.
out your lifelong dream.
There we go.
Don't sell yourself short.
There we
You never know
well,
when you would have an opportunity.
yep. I mean, and talking about opportunities, right? You landed um Goosebumps. How did that all come? I know you just said that, you had your agent and then within a couple of months you were auditioning for Carly Beth. How was that? I know that it was shot in Canada, right? Everything was shot in
Yeah,
Canada.
everything was shot in Canada. I don't think I ever shot anything in the US ever.
It was because it was cheaper, right? I think that's what Amos said.
Yeah,
I think it was
that and work papers. Like, I don't know what that would look like for a kid being Canadian cast and then them pulling you out to shoot in the US. I'm not sure what that would look like. But yeah, definitely the dollar was way cheaper at that time to shoot in Canada. I think it still is, but I mean, with inflation, what's cheap anymore, period. So
yeah.
nothing's cheap. Yeah, it was really quick. Again, we like we've said before, a lot of people have asked us, did you know that you were auditioning for the lead and the pilot? And I said, no, we just thought we were auditioning for an episode.
Mhm.
We didn't know which episode. I don't even remember if I read for Carly Beth on the actual script
Oh, really?
in the audition. I don't remember the actual audition. Um, like I don't think it was actually Carly Beth that I read for when I went in.
Okay.
My gut tells me, but I could be wrong. That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, we auditioned, and then I guess they assembled who they wanted to have in the first couple of episodes and just, slotted the kids into different spots and
Spots and
castings,
everything like that. Yeah, right.
like little boxes. And so we just happened to get slotted into the first episode for the pilot, which was very lucky of us. But I do think, I do remember them asking me, like, in the audition, like, maybe I did do some of the Carly Beth because I feel like they asked me to, like, move around and do some stuff.
So it wasn't
It's
just
kind of
you might
blurry.
had other you had other characters, correct? I'm assuming that you read for. I know Amos didn't really remember.
Yeah.
He said, "I remember doing part two more than I did part one," which makes
Yeah,
sense.
he had a much bigger part in part two. And I have no recollection of doing part two. When we first did the
Really?
first podcast, I had to like start watching it on my phone while we're doing the podcast. Because I was like, I have no memory of any of what he but did I do that? Did we film that? Okay. So
That's funny.
yeah.
That's so funny. Do you remember your first reaction when you read the script? By any chance?
First reaction when I read the script. Um, no, I don't. I
No,
just
it's
know I
fine.
spilled coffee on it because it still has a coffee stain on it. So
That's awesome. That's
yeah,
awesome.
I
Now,
just know that.
do you remember? Did you read any of the books before? Did you know about
Oh
Goose?
yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
did.
I had all the books, like how you had all of them lined up and like
Mhm.
color
Yep.
coded,
Yep.
down the line. And I think they're still like lined up like that on a bookshelf somewhere in my parents' basement.
Yep.
I don't know if they've ever gotten rid of them, but yes, we had all of them and I read them. And yeah, that was a thing.
Any of them that kind of stand out that is your favorite one by any chance?
Terror Tower, Night of the Living Dummy. I don't know why the Night of the Living Dummy really scared me. That one. I just don't like dummies. I
No.
think I saw Poltergeist when I was too young.
I'm
Um, the dolls and clowns and crazy things. That one, yeah, Terror Tower. Which other one? I think those were the only two that really stand out to me.
Mhm.
I would probably remember more if you showed me more titles.
Oh, definitely. Did you shoot for, so once you got to film The Haunted Mask, did you try to shoot for at least some more episodes like you said, like The Tower of Terror or any of the other ones that were that
No, no. I was one of those kids. They was like one and done. They did not like reuse me as a cast member. They like Catherine Short got a second rodeo. Amos got another one. But I think because I was such a prominent lead character in the first one,
that's
they were
right.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, she's just Carly Beth. We can't give her another one. So I did not do a second one. I just did the Haunted Mask too.
Gotcha. Now The Haunted Mask is the most memorable episode in the entire Goosebumps series. What was it like filming some scenes, especially with the mask? Because like you said, you kind of had a Jim Carrey moment, right? Where you had changed your voice, it did all that, which is pretty impressive. Do you remember anything behind the scenes from that?
Oh yeah, I remember so much about the filming. Well, we shot all nights.
Okay.
So we reversed, our hours. It was the week before school and then the first week of school. So I missed the first week of grade 8, grade 7. I forget which
And
one.
you weren't homeschool at all, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. I don't even know if that really existed back then. I mean, if you did, you were like super crunchy. Like that was like you lived on a farm. Now
Yeah.
it's super mainstream everywhere. But yeah, no, I was in regular school and I missed school. So we had all reversed hours shooting nights. So we would wake up at 4, be on set for 5, and then makeup and hair, and then shoot once the sun was going down, and then just shoot straight till the sun came up. Because there was almost no day scenes in the whole script. So yeah, that was fun getting to be up all night and then sleep all day in a blacked out bedroom. I would come home, my dad would black out my whole bedroom, be like, okay, go to bed.
Yeah.
Uh, Wake up and do it again. Yeah, getting into makeup every day. It depended on the day. Sometimes I would shoot as just Carly Beth first and then get
Okay.
into the mask. They usually try to do it in that order because my eyes would get really red and puffy, and then there would be like glue and everything that'd have to peel off. So I think they had to strategically do the shooting order in a way where I was shooting as Carly Beth first in the day and then doing the mask at the end of the day. So the
Realize.
mask was the last thing I got out of. So yeah, kudos to them because that's actually pretty rough to try to manage that shooting schedule in
Yeah.
terms of all the scenes. But of course, they shoot everything out of order in film. So so yeah, I would get into the mask, midday somewhere. And that was a process, not as long as anything like X-Men or something crazy with prosthetics. But yeah, a lot of people have asked, they glued all the way down around my eyes. And the actual original mask that I have still has all the tears in it from that. And then the original makeup still like caked on it. Because then they would put green makeup and go right up into my eyelid with it and all my eyelashes. And
How long was
they
that
could have given
process?
me like falsies and made me like this cute like mask and it was, this cute monster, but no, didn't fly with that. Then my mouth didn't really need so much gluing because they had the teeth,
Mhm.
which ironically didn't really work. They were almost just like normal fangs from a like a costume store, and they just kind of
Take one.
set them in the mouth. Yeah, the fangs were separate, like they put them in, but I remember thinking like these don't really function. They're just kind of existing. Then of course everything was glued down around my lower neck area.
Mhm.
But it was the eyes that were really hard to get off at night because if you think of like eyelash glue or something, and then they had to go in with a Q-tip and peel it off with like acetone every night, and my eyes would like burn. I think I cried at least, 3 or 4 times, and they would take off my eye things at night. But whatever, you suffer for the art. It was fine. But yeah, doing the voice and doing all that fun stuff, I think that just sort of naturally happened as we shot. I remember the very first time we were going to shoot the monster scene with the voice, and Tim was like, it was either Tim Bond or someone else who I remember hearing say, "Oh, we don't have to worry about audio for this because we're just gonna dub it over after."
Okay.
And I was like, "Wait, no, wait, 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 no, 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 no. I can do the voice."
Mhm.
And then Tim was like, "Oh, okay." And then I remember doing it, and he was like, "That's great. Let's do that. We're gonna do that." So then that was the whole thing that I was the monster's voice through the rest of it, which was fun. I
How'd
had to do
you?
a little bit of ADR over that
Yeah.
because
Let's say.
of the muffling with the teeth and at night being outside. So I did have to do some additional ADR. I remember going in after, which was cool because then I got to see the mask on screen for the first time. Because ADR is really the first time you see yourself on screen before the thing premieres. So
Mhm.
it was kind of fun to see everything.
How was it? Is there any technique or anything to kind of save your voice, especially being kind of raspy and going so high or screaming? Is there any techniques to that or not really? It's just kind of like you wing it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, shout out to craft services for giving me a lot of tea, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think I had like a technique. I was 12. I think I just was using my vocal training, I guess, and having fun with it. But I didn't have to do that voice 24/7. It wasn't like I was Thor the entire time and having to be in character. It was only for portions of the day and whatnot.
Now
I did
was
drink a lot of iced coffees though.
really
Yeah.
was the mask heavy or did you feel like claustrophobic
No.
at any chance? No.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't weird me out at all. Only getting the cast of the mask was a little claustrophobic. I know my mom has a photo of that somewhere, of me in the cast with like two straws coming out of my nose. And that was a lot because I was in there for 30 minutes in total darkness, only breathing through two straws in my nose. That was a little claustrophobic. I didn't have a full meltdown, but yeah,
Oh, okay. So the
the
process.
mask was not like that. It was fine.
Okay, okay. I was like, um, now looking back, what do you think made Carly Beth such a relatable and memorable character for fans?
Well, according to the fans, and I do agree with them, it is because she was bullied and she was torn between, wanting to love herself, but not feeling good in her own skin and feeling the weight of other people's words and their opinions. And I think that's a universal thing, right? That kids are going through even today. Bullying is at an all-time high now with cyber capacity for bullying. And back then it wasn't as extreme, but it was in its own way. And even aside of bullying, just people not feeling confident or not feeling good enough being themselves. That is a theme of the show, of the script, and accepting yourself and loving yourself. And I think that her awakening to that at the end of the storyline and recognizing that she is enough as she is and she doesn't have to be something different, that is what I hear the most from fans that resonated with them and made them feel like she was a character that spoke to their struggles and what they were going through and made them feel like they were enough. So
That's
That's my soliloquy on that. I think that's what I hear the most from fans. So I'm gonna say
which
that's
is,
my
I mean,
answer.
it's relatable, right? It's definitely
Yeah, for
relatable.
sure.
Um,
Yeah.
Now the worm scene. You ate worms. Is that true or not?
Didn't eat the worm, but I bit into the worm, but I didn't eat it because that's gross, people. We don't eat worms,
Don't
okay?
eat worms.
Not what we do.
Uh,
I did bite into it though, yes.
yeah.
I insisted that we do that to make it super real. So my face, and I'm like, oh, it's a worm. Like it was in my mouth. And I was like, what? It was so bad, but it was worth it. Yeah, it was
Nice. Good,
good.
good for you to, that's pretty bold, to actually go through it and do that. Because I bet you people on set were like,
Full Stanislavski method. No, I'm kidding. No. But yeah, it was worth it. I remember they were like, "Oh, we're not going to do it." I was like, "No, let's make it real." So yeah, Amos and the other kid. I still forget his name. The guy who played
Chuck.
Steve.
Oh, it's
Wait,
Chuck.
wait. I think he was. I think because Amos was Chuck, the
Mhm.
other kid was Steve.
Yeah, yeah.
Poor guy, the nameless guy. But yeah,
The nameless guy.
they were both so grossed out. Anyways, it was
Uh,
good.
what was your favorite behind the scene memory from the Goosebumps set, if you had to choose one?
Yeah, there was. Um, yeah, my absolute favorite memory was the Scottish costume dresser, and her name was Sam, I think. I'd have to go watch the credits. Was it Sam? I feel like it was Sam. I could be totally wrong.
We'll
I
go
have
with
a photo of her. She is blonde, very sweet woman, was like, middle-aged. She had a very thick Scottish accent, and she was the one that dressed, gave me my outfits and my wardrobe every day.
Mhm.
And when it would get really late and I would get really tired, usually the last 2 hours of shooting, like close to 5 in the morning, she
Mhm.
would come and sit and give me like hand massages, like
Oh,
while I was sitting waiting to shoot. And she would like sing like Scottish songs. Like
this is
I
past
can't even tell you. It was so poetic. It was like she was the sweetest woman, and she was the extra, like, fuel that kept me going every single night when I would get super tired. She was like my
that's
little Scottish, just like Mrs.
that's Scottish
Doubtfire,
music.
just, Mrs. Doubtfire just coming alongside me.
Uh,
And so, yeah, I'd have to look up the credits and make sure her name is correct. But if she's still out there, thank you for making
Look at
my
that.
film experience on set so enjoyable. She was like my nanny the whole film. That was my best memory, was her.
That's
And
awesome.
then
That's
massages.
awesome. That's Scottish music, man.
Sweetest woman.
That was
She was
good.
like, "And no less, would you like a hand massage?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like,
Please
"Then
do.
do great less." She was so great.
That's awesome. If they ever remade the Haunted Mask today, would you ever consider a cameo or returning as Carly Beth grown up?
Yeah, so Catherine Short and I talked about this because when we did the cast reunion on
Okay.
the first podcast, which was the first time we'd all seen each other in 30 years, I think they asked us that, and Catherine and I were like, yeah, I think she would only do it if I did it because there's no way. Like we would need to be together. But yes, we would be the cool millennial moms who have their kids and now their kids are besties. And then
Mask.
I don't know, you can write the script. Somehow the mask gets into the hands of one of our children and it tries, take the generational curse and trauma another direction. And
Yeah,
then we have to go save them. So we're like in home sense, and then we get the text and we're like, we have to leave and run and save our children.
there we
That
go.
would be something that we would do. So yeah, I would totally do that.
Especially
It wouldn't
like
be Carly Beth Caldwell. I would be like, Carly Beth Williamson, now married with 3 children in a minivan, and
there you go.
mass returns, I don't
There
know.
you go.
Somewhere in the Midwest. So
I
wholeesome.
mean, if you
Yeah.
think about it, I
It's
mean,
your crisis
nowadays
now.
it's a possibility, right? Like they do so many callbacks and cameos now for everything. I mean, that's like the new norm, right? It's
Yeah, I honestly don't think it would really happen though. It would have to take some producer or some writer that had a very, very distinct vision for wanting to revive the original cast. And then, Scholastic backing it because it's the Goosebumps,
Mhm.
rights and all that. So many things would have to fall into place in a specific way. none of us are holding our breath. It's not
But
likely
never,
going to
never say
happen.
never. Like you
So.
told me, never say never. You never know.
Sure. Okay. We'll go with that. We'll be
Okay.
optimistic Friday. Never say never. It would
Yeah.
be fun. I mean, for sure. I think Kathryn and I would have a blast. She's so funny and she has not changed a bit. We're still just two clams together. Yeah.
And that's
She's
awesome that you guys still have that friendship, Um, you just going back for so many years now. It's nice to hear that you guys are still um friends. So, all right, let's talk a little bit. Let's pass by Goosebumps. I want to talk about uh your your main passion, which is dancing, right? One of my questions is acting and dancing both tell stories, one with words, the other with movement. How do those two worlds connect for you artistically?
Oh, yeah, storytelling is the is the essence behind, everything that we do in the art world for film and dance and theater. And Um, I would say in dance, sometimes there is no storytelling because you can do what are called divertissements, which are just dances that are set to music meant to personify the music and really have no story at all. So that's also a whole thing onto itself. I don't want to get too technical into that for the viewers because they might be like, "Oh, this is way out of left field," and
No, hey, hey,
not of interest to them at all. But
you know what?
um,
If you want, if you're here, we're here to learn.
sure.
Because you know what? Same thing. I have n not the slightest clue on dancing anything. I'm willing, and
Sure, yeah. I just don't want to veer off a bridge into like, here's my ballet TED Talk. Welcome to like,
I'll be like, yeah.
but yeah, no, I think storytelling in ballet is
Mhm.
beautiful. It's so heartfelt and creates such a longing when you're both performing it and watching it. I think classics like people know like Swan Lake and Sleeping Beauty and Giselle and even the Nutcracker. When those ballets are done well, they evoke so many feelings and human emotions of things that relate to our lives. And they're very old ballets, right? So, and those ballets are done over and over. And those are just the classics. There's many new works that are now performed, and there's amazing choreographers like George Balanchine and Christopher Wheeldon, and contemporary choreographers like Nacho Duatu and Jerry Killian. And um, so many ballets are set to different types of music as well. So people can decide if they want to go to contemporary ballets and have really edgy music or minimalist music, or if they want to go to the classics and listen to, Tchaikovsky and Delibes and all of that. And so, there's a lot of variety like there is in film and ballet in terms of what your audience likes to go to and what they want to patron. So, but as a dancer, I think that the same type of feeling you have in acting, it just comes out of your body in a different way. And again, you have to pass that 30, 100, 300-foot test in ballet with how you emote and express yourself. So it's very big and it's very grand and it can be nuanced as well, but there's a sense of there's a sense of direct energy that you're sharing with the audience that you don't get on film in
Mhm.
ballet because again it's live, it's in the moment, and things can go really really well and things can not go well too, and you have to handle both. And but it when it's magical and perfect in the moment in ballet on stage in live theater, it's a beautiful thing because you can't recreate it. You'll never see it again, right? It's like it's that one moment you get and that's all you get.
Yeah.
You don't get to relive it over and over. So yeah.
How many have you produced, directed, choreographed? How many ballets?
I've done so many at this point. Um, there's some of the classics I haven't done just because in the companies I've worked with, there has not been the budget to do those uh,
Yeah.
exorbitant types of full lengths. But I've done many classical full lengths. I've done a lot of Balanchine ballets as well, not the extent that some companies do them. Um, I've had the privilege of being able to produce a lot of work by some other choreographers as well, and what we call licensing. So, like, I would call a choreographer or call a trust and say, "Hey, can I pay you this much money to use this ballet for a show or a
Okay.
gala that I'm producing?" And so that's a way that I produce a lot of shows. That's a format I've been directing for a while. So that's been my full-time gig for the
Okay.
last
There you go.
many years is producing shows like that and a lot of shows with kids. really enjoy working with the youth and helping them get, find their foot and getting into the professional arena, which is difficult because now everyone wants to be famous and everyone has an Instagram profile and everyone needs followers to be seen. And so the market is very oversaturated. So so that's what I've been doing the last, I would say, 20 years for the most part. And yeah, really, really enjoyed it. And I love that my life is never the same. Like it's always different. I'm always doing a different ballet, always working with different dancers.
Uh,
And every new ballet is a different challenge and has music that's memorable and beautiful. And I get to, go in the studio and make something new every single week. So yeah, I like all the variety and the change. It's good.
Now, this is completely wrong, and I'm probably making an ass out of myself. But in Titanic, when she can you do that foot thing that she does? Is
The
that
foot in Titanic. I was like, where is this going? I was like, in Titanic. I was expecting you to say a ballet, and then you're
yeah,
like, in
yeah?
Titanic.
You know how she puts her
Oh,
like her feet up or whatnot? Like,
oh, when Kate Winslet goes up on her
yeah,
toes.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Is that
I still like, was that really her going up on her
probably
toes?
not? Probably
Or
not.
was it a double going up on her toes? Yeah, I mean, going up on your toes without shoes is not generally recommended. I mean, I can do it, but it's just, I wouldn't want to be up there a super long time.
Yeah.
Um, Irish dancers do that. So, like shout out to all the Irish dancers out there. Y'all are amazing because you go up there without they're way up there. Scottish and Highland dancers too.
Okay.
They're way up there with no point shoes or anything. So like their ankles are something else. But yes, I can do that. But without point shoes, I wouldn't want to be doing that for an extended period of time.
No, I was, like I said,
So, yeah.
that's the closest where I get. I'm like, well, Titanic. I'm sorry, it was kind of like a random question.
No, you're fine. I think like it's the part of the movie when they're doing like this jig, right? Like in the
Yeah.
third class
Mhm.
compartment, and they're
Yep.
like the fiddle's out and they're all like dancing around, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's meant to be like an Irish or a Scottish thing anyway.
It
So,
could be.
anyways,
So
yeah.
there you go.
Shout out to them. They're amazing. Yeah.
All right. Um, Question. You spent years teaching young performers how to help your students. How do you help build their confidence, especially those who might feel like Carly Beth, shy or just unsure of themselves?
Yeah, that's a great question. I grew up with so much insecurity around my um just myself, whether I was enough, it's difficult when you do get a lot of notoriety for something as a kid, and then there's a lot of jealousy and other things that get projected at you from that, and then you start to question, oh,
Right.
am I really good though? Or is this just a fluke that I got all this success in this one area? And so uh I think for me growing up, what I remember the most was people who really helped me to feel confident by giving me tools to have consistency and discipline in my life. And because no one can take your own discipline and um, uh, your own convictions away from you, right? Like if you have discipline and following through with stuff and working daily in a certain way and having a work ethic, no one can take that away from you. And I
Absolutely.
think that that was really instilled in me through a lot of mentors. And so I try to do the same when I meet kids that are maybe struggling, or I know that maybe coming to ballet is the only thing where they feel good about themselves. Like
Mhm.
I'm getting away from these people at school, or I'm getting out of my home environment, or something that is not functioning or on all cylinders in their life. And I know that coming to ballet is like their safe space.
Yeah.
That's where I want to really pour into them and make them feel like they can do it. And if they have a good work ethic and they apply themselves, they can be successful at that. And that's a space where they can be in their own mind, be in their own self, and feel confident and good about what they're doing. I remember someone saying this to me, like kids remember a lot more about how you make them feel versus what you tell them, or what you tell them they should know. So how you make them feel about themselves, I'm really, especially with girls, like complimenting them in a way where you're not blowing sunshine up their ass, but you're telling them consistently that they're good at something, or telling them when they do something better or well,
Yeah.
versus when they're not doing it well, and then giving them constructive ways of getting to a better spot. Girls do really well with that, and guys just do really well with young boys, especially just like pushing and like really making them grind and pushing, like, because their testosterone needs that and their confidence needs that, and some don't have male role models. And so I make them all look me in the eye and shake my hand and greet me every time and then bow and finish appropriately with good discipline. And just, those are all consistent things you can do with kids to make them respect you and also learn to respect themselves. So I'm pretty big on having routine and consistency with how I coach kids. And that
Okay.
was modeled to me really, really well growing up with a lot of good mentors. And I think my parents too. But yeah, it's definitely very satisfying because when you see a kid from 3 years old all the way through to when they're 18, and you've had a hand in raising that kid in a sense and giving them the tools to go out in society and be a successful adult, that's very satisfying. So yeah.
Nice. Very nice. All right. Before I let you go, okay, I just want to ask this question. Um,
Is it about Titanic? No, I'm just kidding.
how'd you know? That was my next one. Damn. All right, let's switch it up. We'll actually have two, and then I'll let you go. This had to do obviously with dancing still as well. What has been your most fulfilling project or performance outside of acting? Obviously, we're talking about dance. Something that pushed you creatively.
Something that pushed me creatively. Um, in dance specifically, or just anything.
Let's do both. We'll do dance and then in anything, unless you just want to get dance. We can do dance because we're other than Titanic.
I think what's your Titanic? Uh yeah, there's been a couple for sure. You know what? Honestly, the one that really brought everything together for me
Mhm.
um is in 2020 when the pandemic happened.
Okay.
I was in, full mode of producing shows and whatnot, and we had an annual Nutcracker and et cetera. And that year, because of the pandemic, we knew there was going to be no live theater. Obviously, everything was shut down. So everyone pivoted. And so in that moment, there was a really good friend of mine who had found me via seeing one of the shows and then being like, oh, wait a minute. I think she used to be in film or something. So, anyways, we connected, and he is an LA film producer. And his family lived in the area where I produce things. And so when the pandemic happened, he came to me and he was like, hey, I'd love to propose that we make a Nutcracker movie and make a socially distanced movie of the Nutcracker, your version. And so that really challenged me. I had to write a whole storyboard for our Nutcracker in film style, and
Oh,
create the whole shot list for every day. We had 5 days to shoot the entire show on a 12-hour per day schedule with almost all kids. And we had to do it socially distanced with all the
oh,
parameters.
Lord.
And we could only have like 5 to 8 people on camera
Yeah.
at a time because of the rules.
Mhm.
So everything had to be super micromanaged, and the storyboard and like laying out all the shots, and then him being on steady cam, me directing, us looking at the dailies on the spot, choosing
Oh
stuff,
my
moving
Lord.
on. It was like blending my film world with the dance world in a way that I'll probably never do again because I never want to do that again. It was so hard and so chaotic.
Wow.
But the satisfaction of seeing the result of it, and what we ended up doing was having that film shown at the drive-in theater in the county.
Oh, perfect.
So, and the whole county came out, and we sold out the drive-in for 2 nights straight. And everyone came out to see the Nutcracker on film at the drive-in with their families. So yeah, that was a really fun experience for me and super challenging. It was like the same hours of film and the pressure of like being on the clock and getting everything done, but then the live theater aspect too.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think that was probably to this date the most interesting and unique, rewarding thing I've done that blends both things. So there you go.
Wow. That's well, I applaud you because damn, that's
It,
one.
it, it was a lot, and
Yes.
going having to adhere to the pandemic rules, I think was just the extra kicker. But
Yeah.
yeah, the end result was beautiful. It was shot in 4K, and he edited it and produced it, so it looked like a Hallmark movie. It was so
Yeah.
beautiful when it
Yeah.
was done. Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah,
You
very
didn't
proud.
you didn't see it, but like as you were explaining all the situations you had to go through, my eye was twitching. You're probably
Oh, your
I was
eye
just
was
like
twitching.
I was just like, oh my God, like oh that's impressive. That's again, yeah, the pandemic was a reawakening. Everyone had to
It
kind of
was
do
it
their
was
own
great.
thing and kind of try to figure it out and still continue to make a living or continue to do which
Yeah, and it
what they
really it really did create a huge shift in I think the industrial space of film and theater and how we do acting and how we do auditioning because so much now is done digitally as a result of the pandemic. I think everyone realized, oh, this is very convenient. Let's just do everything digital. We can all just stay where we are and do less in person. Well, for the most part, whether, that's a good thing or not, but it did change the trajectory of a lot of stuff. So yeah, for better or for worse.
All right. Well, before I let you go, I wanted to say it was an honor and I loved having you on. Again, thank
Yeah,
you
thanks for
for
having me.
for the childhood memories. It's been like I said, Goosebumps Haunted Mass is usually October 1st comes, and that's the first one. That's the first movie I'm putting on for my kids. Um,
So fun.
yeah, it's amazing, and the kids, especially generation to generation, as you know. I grew up, watching Goosebumps. I can pass it down to my kids, and my kids can enjoy it and love it. And it's kind of like just an ongoing train that just keeps going, which is really nice to have, to have that
Well,
bond.
I'm glad. I'm all for passing down film and TV from the 90s to our generation because that was
90s
what
was the best.
it's never going to be that good again. We
Yeah,
had we had it so good.
90s was the best.
It
And
really was. Yeah.
but again, thank you so much. I appreciate having you on and talking about your amazing career. So keep doing what you're doing, and
Thank you.
now, when you watch Titanic, if you ever watch it, you're gonna see that scene. You'll be like, "It was that guy that had that weird comment about Titanic."
I'm gonna have to if I ever watch it again, I'll have to look at that scene and be like, "Oh, it's really her feet. I don't trust. I don't believe it."
It was a close-up shot. Probably not. Absolutely
Probably
not.
someone else's feet, but
Yeah,
whatever amazing Irish dancer that was, good job.
there we
But
go.
yeah, well, thanks for having me on, and I hope to
Thank
see you
you.
maybe at another con if you come out. And thanks to all the fans for watching. And yeah, thanks for asking me such interesting questions and some diverse ones about, my life and the theater world and dance world is very, very sweet. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have a good day, all right?
Okay, take care. Bye, everyone.